Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Our owner and CEO of Sunny Spaces Organizing joins us again, Erika Maddamma. Hopefully you've heard some of our shows. If you haven't, you're going to be in for a treat because spring cleaning is kind of on everyone's mind. And her, as the president and CEO of Sunny Spaces, has some great tips. By the way, welcome back. It's been a while. How are you?
I am awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a while. We just got back from Disney, our first kid trip to the magical land with the mouse, and it was awesome. So
How was it?
happy to
How
be
old are
back.
the kids?
5 and 2.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And they had a great time. Which parks did you hit?
We just did Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom,
Beautiful. Was
and
it
it
a
was
success?
perfect. It was. My oldest decided he loves all things roller coasters, so did them all multiple times. It was great.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you back and get in the mix of things here and with your company based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just share a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, of course. So we are a team of professional organizers. So essentially come into your house and you tell us what your vision is and we make it come to life. So do the heavy lifting for you, give you the ideas, the tips, and of course the execution. So you don't have to spend the day in your dusty garage. We can do that for you while you go out and enjoy whatever it is you like to do.
And what is it that you like to do at livingsunny.com? Tell us all the packing, the organizing, transitional moves, right?
Yeah, all the things. Anything that requires being strategic and thoughtful, helping with life transitions, the moving, the packing, welcoming a new baby. All of those things are great times to call us in for a little extra assistance.
Perfect. Well, let's talk today. You mentioned spring cleaning. That's on the top of the list, right?
Yeah, so I don't know about where everybody is, but today in Pittsburgh it's 70 degrees. I have all the windows
Wow.
open.
Is it really?
It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of warm here in New York. I didn't realize it was that hot. Wow.
Yeah. I just came back from Florida and I'm like, wow, the weather's almost the same, which is fine with me.
Oh
But
my
I know this
gosh.
time of year, people really get inspired and they, this change of the season really energizes people. 78% of Americans use this, March and April, May to find something extra to clean. So we all know that being a little more clean, a little more organized, helps us all feel healthier and a little more stress-free in our own environment. So it is important to do for sure.
Oh my goodness. And let's talk about the process. It's not an easy one. I'm organizationally challenged and I spent some time off trying to organize and sorting stuff out and I started the process. I have not finished. I tackled a lot. Gonna be honest, after a week, Erika, I lost some motivation. There's a lot less in my house clutter, but there's still clutter piles. I've lost the motivation to continue, and I'm hoping you can give it back to me today. And to all of us out there, what are some of the tips with your spring cleaning in general?
Yeah, pressure is on. So I would say, spring cleaning is a great time to think about the seasonal items.
Oh, we lost you on seasonal. Hello? Hello, hello.
It's
Erika, you froze for about 20 seconds. So let's repeat that. I apologize because you weren't there. I heard seasonal. That was it. So let's pick it up. Tell me what we need for spring cleaning.
All right.
And organizing.
Okay. So, I think spring cleaning is really important. I think we get that boost in the fall as well. But every time the seasons change, it's really important to assess all of our transitional spaces. So our mud rooms, our kids' clothes, our own clothing, our garages is what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about today.
Okay.
But even our kitchen cabinets and our pantries, like who wants to eat hearty beef stew come spring or summer? Like really taking the time to assess what we're holding on to and why, and if it's time to let some of these things kind of go or be stored away for the next season so you just have what you need at your fingertips.
All right. Bring us to it, the garage.
All right.
I don't even want to think about that. Go ahead. Is that where we're starting? Okay.
Let's start there. Yeah, I feel like this is one where you need to call in your recruits. It's like call your in-laws, tell them you need them to watch the kids because this is a project that's definitely going to take some time to go through. I would even go as far, depending on the state of things, as considering you rent a dumpster or use one of those waste management bag stir bags, because the garage is where we tend to have a lot of just bulky trash. Stuff just piles up, things are broken. We're not going to fix it. It's time to just let it go. So set yourself up for success. Call in your babysitters and figure out where you can get rid of the bulk of your items. That way you can have a great transformation. And then the first step, really, once you get everything kind of logistically set up, is to assess your garage. I say this every time. So, Jill, you've heard this a million times from me before. Let's just really take a look at it in its raw form. What is here? What's landed where? Why? Is it serving a purpose? Should it
Yep.
be stored somewhere else? I just did this yesterday. My garage is okay. But winter happened. It was cold here. I didn't want to take the time to be out there putting stuff properly away, so I just stuck it to the side. Christmas lights were still out. What else did I find? Just random balls and chalk and all kinds of stuff that just kind of trickles out, right? I was like, we had one nice day in February, so it landed out, never got put back properly. So it's just kind of assessing what's landing where and why. And we'll talk a lot about zones today. I usually talk about zones with garages and pantries.
Okay.
So to me, a zone is just kind of a category, right? So you might have a sports zone, you might have your home decor, your outside decorations, tools or a workbench kind of zone. You might have bulk storage, like extra paper towels, maybe water bottles, soda, things like that are hanging out there. And then I'm sure everyone can relate. There's like 1,001 shoes, and one because one is always missing, right? That just happen. I'm like, why do we have so many shoes? There's only 4 of us that live in this house. But it's really taking an assessment of like what these little categories are and where they are in the garage and if they make sense. Shoes next to the garage probably makes sense. Workshop, workbench kind of off in a corner probably makes sense. So just again, assessing what's already there and deciding for your family and for this season if it makes sense. Perhaps things made sense in the past, your kids are now older and it doesn't make sense anymore. So it's a good time to kind of reconvene and reevaluate.
And let me just ask, how do you, you mentioned the word balls. My kids have so many different sport balls. Why do they have like duplicate, triplicates? And then even all the balls that you get from like the Dave and Buster's, the Chuck E. Cheese, the little ones with the spikes on it, they don't want to get rid of them. How do I just do it?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 schools of thought with that. Like, get your kids involved and get them to see, why we don't need to hold on to everything. But my kids are of the I need everything.
Yep.
And I can't let, everything is gold and I can't let go of anything. So I squirrel stuff away when they're not paying attention. Because, when they have the choice of so many different items, they don't even know what to gravitate towards. So it gives them a little bit more clarity when they go to the garage to play. It's like, we just have these choices. It does simplify things for them, for their decision making, and also for us for storing all of those items.
Got it.
But yeah, it gets to be insane the amount of things.
Do you recommend bins and storing vertically?
Absolutely. So it depends. Everyone's garages and spaces are going to be different. I've been in a lot of garages that have huge overhead space, and it's like, yes, let's utilize that. Use one of those drop down racks to hang things from the ceiling, and you can still park your car underneath it. I think those are really fantastic, especially for, off-season decorations, things that you're not accessing often. Our garage is really low, so that's not a choice for us. So for us, it's more maximizing all of the wall space and using, like you said, that vertical space. Slat walls can be really good and really versatile for people. We have just like that slat lives on the wall and you can change out the hooks, you can add shelves. So again, as your kids are into balls now, there's a big ball bin now, but maybe in 5 years when they've kind of outgrown this stage, then you can substitute it for something else. So that's great versatility for sure.
Good. Thank you so much. What else, Erika?
All right. Well, I think one of the things you need to decide on after you do your assessment is, are we pulling all of this out right now, or do we need to like pull out in stages? Because you can create a huge mess in your driveway and then lose the steam, kind of like you were saying.
Guilty. I've done that. I put tarps
oh,
on the stuff for a few days and it's embarrassing. But yes, I've done
just
that.
shove it all back in and close the door, and then you're like, okay, now I really have a mess to deal with. So be strategic. Think about, the volume. If it's too much to take everything out, that's okay. Take out by category.
Okay.
So take out all that sports stuff.
Okay.
Get it all together. See how many hockey sticks there are, how many soccer balls, whatever you have. maybe there's rollerblades in there that don't fit anybody anymore. Awesome.
Hmm.
I say throw those on your neighborhood page, your Facebook swap, whatever page, and start getting rid of some of those things. So it's really pulling out the categories, seeing how much you have, and then determining what can be purged. Kind of similar to what you were already saying with the balls. It's like, okay, no one's played soccer in 10 years. Why do we still have shin guards here? Like, time to get rid of some of these things that haven't been used and, that are easy to replace should someone decide they do want to play this sport, but it's not
Yep.
a good thing for this season. Okay, well, that's an easy thing to just quickly repurchase if needed. So just being kind of practical with what's staying in that space for sure.
Yeah, and also just to point out, like with sports and stuff with my kids in their bags, obviously they're going out of their shoes. They will grow out of their baseball bats, all those things you can put on Marketplace
Yes.
and give to someone else because they're really gently used. They're not, so that's just a good idea to get them involved in that and say, hey, we sell your shoes. You can make $10. And I
Yeah.
do that with my kids.
Yeah, put it towards something else. We have a family that's in our neighborhood that's going to Disney also this fall. And so they're trying to purge just all the toys in their house. And they're like, anything that you sell, you can buy something new in Disney. So
Yeah.
whatever motivates
Hmm.
them for sure. But yeah, just being really aware of not hanging on to stuff for the just in case and the what ifs and just being really realistic with what's being utilized so that you have less to manage and less to pull out, every spring. I did my garage in probably 20 minutes, and that was with my 2-year-old kind of running
Oh,
around
wow.
causing havoc. So it's not bad once you have the bones in place, but it's
Yep.
definitely one of those things that you just have to kind of keep up with every now and then.
All right. What else? Remind us, by the way, how we contact you before we continue.
Yeah, of course. So you can look us up online. You can find us at livingsunny.com or on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Sunny Spaces Organizing. We'd love to hear from you. We're actually doing Minimalism March this month. So if you're interested in living with less, you can definitely follow us for some tips on how to own a few less things. It doesn't mean you have to go to the extreme, but we're excited to talk about that this month.
Perfect. I'm excited too. I like that.
Thank you.
Minimalistic. I gotta minimize. I'm trying to do that. Go ahead. Keep
You have
inspiring
been. You
us here.
have
So we're
been.
in the garage. Go ahead. Where to
Yes.
next?
So in a perfect world, you've pulled everything out and you're kind of getting a chance to do the true spring cleaning. And I feel like this is the part of your house that nobody actually wants to clean. It's like spider webs and dead bugs and God knows what else is
Yep.
lying back there, but it also is the most satisfying to get that clean. So a good time at least to sweep the floors, maybe spray it down. I know we had a lot of just salt and sand from wintertime just hanging out in there. So giving the floor a good sweep, you can even just sweep your wall, sweep your ceiling, get all those cobwebs out. A good time to just kind of clean out the track of your garage door so that doesn't cause any maintenance problems.
Mm-hmm.
Clean your garage windows. I don't know that I've ever done that in the 6 years I've lived in my house, but it seems like a good idea. But a good time to just kind of clean sweep, get everything nice and ready. And a lot of people spend a lot of time in their garages in the summer, so it just makes for a more inviting spot to be at.
All right.
All right. But once you have everything kind of pulled out, you have your categories, you've pared down, it's a good time to really assess what you want to do for storage. So we talked a little bit about storage already. But what are some things that are going to be kid height that,
Yeah.
they'll put their balls back because it's easy. I think I've mentioned this 100 easy to put back. It's not true organization because no one will keep up with it. So something that's right at their level for their bin, something that's right at their level for their shoes. Um, Keeping in mind your seasonality. So maybe the winter items get to go up high on a top shelf that, for us, we have it on the way top shelf, but we need a ladder to get it down. Kind of annoying, but I do it once a year to take down, once a year to put up. So not a huge deal. Where all the chalk and all the strollers and the bikes and all of that stuff are easy to just grab off the wall and go. Um, Maximizing that vertical space, or like I said, the overhead garage rack is really great. A lot of those items in my house require a handyman to put up. So just know
Mm-hmm.
that too. That could be a phase 2 of your project. It's like, okay, we got everything out, we've got it pared down. We know we want a overhead rack for these, seasonal bins. Let's get that installed. And then, you kind of have a little waiting game before you can get things fully put back. But again, it gives you that long-term success with the organization having those systems installed.
Awesome. Thank you for that. What
Yeah.
else?
And then, we talked about the zones before. So just as you're putting things back, keeping things in their zone. And then once it's all put back nice and pretty, I also recommend just taking a couple photos so that you can remember where things are meant to go, where they fit well, because life is going to happen. The sports bags are going to get dropped. The seasons aren't going to get put away. But it's important to take time every couple months to just get those things put back to the proper spot. And if you have a photo to refer to, definitely helps just to remember what's supposed to go where.
Speaking of photos, that's how I used to minimize as well now. Taking pictures of the stuff that I
Yeah,
want to remember that I don't want to hold on to. Just another
absolutely.
idea in the list.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. I feel like the garage is not the best place to store like memorabilia things, which is what is a great idea to take photos and then be able to let some of that
Yep.
go. You just want to be mindful of any water that comes in. I just feel like no matter what you do, there's always bugs. So clear, watertight containers are really good for storing things. But I wouldn't store a ton of like paper, photos, that kind of memorabilia in your garage if you don't, if you have another space to store it. Um, but I would also say take notice as you get your system in place and your handyman comes and hangs all the things and you're just like, gosh, but things are still landing here in the middle, or the shoes are still piling up at the door. Just get really curious about why those items are landing where they are, and see if you can craft a way to either motivate your family to put things back where you've assigned them, or make it even easier for them to put things back. Organizing is not a one and done by any stretch. It's that constant maintenance. I think that's why my house is organized, is because every single day I'm just picking things up, putting things back, keeping that system going. And once the system's in place, it's easy to keep up with it, but it's getting that first piece established that can be very tricky.
Wow. Thank you for that. All right. And by the way, let me ask, is it true as a professional organizer, you're always organized, or make me feel a little better? Is there sometimes you get unorganized? And if so, why? Tell me it's
uh,
because you're not picking up. Are you the type of person that does, cooks and then you put the dishes away, clean them right away?
Pretty much.
I try to be, but then sometimes I
Pretty
always
much.
get stunted because someone's calling or screaming, and it's like,
Yeah.
then I look in the sink and I'm like, oh my goodness, how did this happen?
Yeah. I mean, I try to be, and I think that's partially what makes me an organized person, is just take that immediate action and try not to
Yeah.
procrastinate on it. It's like laundry, right? Laundry's never ending. There's a load in my dryer right now. It's sheets. It's not important. I'll make that bed tonight, but it's just, okay, laundry's done. I got to just go do it and take care of it, and just finding the time to do the laundry that you're going to have the space on, by the 2 hours whenever your cycles are done, that you have time to put them away. But just saying, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do it. And I find things take less time than they work up when we work them up in our heads to be. It's like, oh, I gotta unload the dishwasher or something. We kind of make it out to be this big task, and oh, I'm the only one that does it, la la la. It's all this kind of complaining, and why does it always fall on me? But then I've done it before I can even make my K-cup in the morning. I've been able to unload the dishwasher. So just knowing that things don't always take as long as we think, and that taking that constant action will keep you organized. But I would say I'm least organized with like my computer and like files and where things go. And I'll write the notes for this podcast 3 times and be like, oh, I already wrote the show notes for this. Like, I didn't realize I did that already. Just, I think as women, maybe our minds are just always going, and there's just so much to keep track of and remember, that if it's not written down for
Yep.
me, then forget about
I'm
it.
checking my desk.
So
Yeah, it's a little unorganized here. I could fix it
I
up
just have a lot of piles, but
later.
I know what's in them. They're action
Yes.
piles. It's fine. So
Oh,
there's no perfection in our house. And I mean, I have like a box in the corner that has all of our swag stuff in it. Is it perfectly organized? No. Could it be in a better container? Sure, but also it works. I know where it is. So I think that's the other part of it, is being organized doesn't mean it's perfect, doesn't mean it's magazine worthy. I think, if HGTV walked through my house, they would probably not be super impressed, but I know where things are. I can get my kids out the door efficiently in the morning, and that's what matters to me.
sure does. All right. Erika Maddamma here again, and we are living sunny. And she's in the Pittsburgh area, but do you do virtual work as well to those elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can do virtual organizing. We also have a coaching program that helps you establish healthy habits, which is all part of strengthening the muscle to become organized. It's taking those action steps right away. And they also floods over into other parts of your life. I have a partnership with my sister, who is a health and wellness coach, and together we help people lose weight and get more fit and also get more organized. So it's been a really great partnership to have, helping a lot of people just live better and improve their lives on all fronts.
Perfect.
So yeah, lots of ways to work with us near and far.
And we have more advice and tips, I'm sure.
Always.
Let's go. We got 5 minutes. Bring it
And I was
on.
looking at the clock. I'm like, oh no, my notes are gone. All right. Yes. So I would say too, let's just keep this spring cleaning theme going. I mentioned looking through your kitchen cabinets. Like right now I have pumpkin spice, I don't know, marinara sauce. It doesn't even sound
Ooh.
good, but it did in the fall. Like
Ah,
that's something that I'm probably not going to use. So that's one of the things where it's like, check your expiration date. Will it be good in the fall? Something like that. That's jarred will be. But just kind of taking that assessment of what's hanging out there and will you really use that as the weather gets warmer. We tend to change some of those eating habits. So just being mindful of what's taking up that prime real estate. If it will still be good when that next season comes back around, maybe we store it in a backstock area just to, again, free up some space. But it's also a good time of year to wash all the winter coats, all the jackets, the hats, the mittens. I like to kind of wash all of that, and then I'll throw them in their baskets and bins with a dryer sheet in them just to help keep them fresh as we're not using anything for the next, hopefully, I don't know. I'm like really ready to put the coats away. I'm like, probably there's going to be another cold spell. It's too soon, right? But being mindful of what's hanging out in your mudroom, the shovels and the scrapers for your car, can those start to get tucked away? Just keeping out, again, what you need. So being mindful of the snow boots, all of that. And then again, will it fit my kid next season? Probably not. So is it worth hanging on to, or can you pass it on to a neighbor, throw it on Facebook, um, just to clean out that space and keep only what you need? That's really the name of the game.
it is so hard because we're so attached to things. Mentally, it's hard for some of us, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, the kid things. I know that's something that you've been working through. It's like, oh, it's my last one. Like, are we really ready to let go of it? But on the flip side, what is that item going to serve you? What is it going
Yeah.
to do for you? You
Yeah.
have the memories, it's good to have some keepsake items for sure. But what is that item really going to do for you? Maybe
Except
asking
take up
yourself some of those
space and
questions.
mental clutter, which affects our everyday life. Go give it a home somewhere else. It could be used. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I'm
Yeah.
working on that. I sold a lot of
Things are
my
meant to be
stuff.
used. Good
The
girl.
cribs, yes, there's
Yep.
still more to go. Now I have to make the time. Now I have bins of some like brand new clothes, and I have a bassinet. I have a few things that I still have to get rid of, but they're on the way out, and it feels so good.
It does. And I would say on that note too, of like finding the time to go through these things, where on your calendar are you saying yes to items that you don't want to do? Is it a fundraiser you're going to that you'd rather not? Is there, we've kind of talked about this before a little bit too, of just like saying no to things on your calendar. Maybe it's not committing your
Yeah,
kid to 2 teams this season. I don't know what it looks like. Everyone's going to be different and their
of
priorities are
course.
different, but
Yep.
we are all people pleasers at heart, I think, and we want to do and make sure everyone else is happy. And then what do we feel but exhausted and like we have no time? One of my clients told me she's time poor. I'm like, oh, I've never heard that before, but I get what you're saying. Like, we do so much for
I'm
everyone
poor.
else and then there's nothing left for us in the end. So just being mindful as you go into spring, it's a great time for a fresh start and be just aware of what you're saying yes to, what you're committing to, and if it really serves your greater purpose or not.
Awesome. Thank you. And in closing today, Erica, how can we reach you? And any last minute advice for us again to let this stuff go and get it done?
Yeah, I mean, less is more. I'm going to continue to preach that till I'm blue in the face. Really just give yourself that permission to let go of the guilt. And, you'll find that living with less means it's easier to clean and maintain. And I promise you will not really regret it. But you can find us at livingsunny.com or on Instagram or Facebook at Sunny Spaces Organizing. We'd love to hear from you if you have a question or just want to DM us a picture. We'd love to help give you some advice on how to clean out your space this spring.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Pleasure having you here
Awesome.
and looking forward to the next time we connect and enjoy the high of getting over Disney. Did you
Thank
did
you.
you unpack already and do
Oh
everything?
yeah.
See, you're good like that. Sometimes I
Oh,
let it
yeah.
wait and then the suitcase is there for a week and it adds to the clutter. All right. Words of
Uh-huh,
advice.
uh-huh.
Unpack quickly. Thank
There
you
you go.
again. Have a great day, Erika. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.